Hi guys, welcome back to Algebra 1, Lesson 55. We're going to get started. We're talking about vertical and horizontal lines, as well as overall average. So in Lesson 54, our last lesson, we already graphed things like y equals 2x minus 1, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2, y equals negative x, things like that. Some equations are going to be slanted lines, some are going to be horizontal, some are going to be vertical. So some equations of a straight line contain either an x term or a y term, but not both an x term and a y term. When this happens, the graph of these equations is either going to be a vertical line or a horizontal line. So let's look at this to start with. Y equals 4. Well, if y equals 4, that means that no matter what x is, y is 4. So if x is negative 3, remember x is where we go across. Okay, so if x is negative 3, y is 4. If x is positive 1, y is 4. If x is positive 5, y is still 4. So it is a straight line. Well, now let's take a look at this one. X minus 2. We're going to look at it on the same graph. X minus 2. Or, excuse me, x equals negative 2. Sorry, guys. X equals negative 2. Well, this means that whatever x is, y is negative 2. So let's say, or excuse me, whatever y is, x is negative 2. So if y is, let's see, y is 3. X is negative 2. Y is negative 3. X is still negative 2. Y is 1. X is still negative 2. Now normally, remember, we plot the x first, then the y. This is just an exception for showing you this particular type of line. So we can see that it goes in a straight line going up and down. So from this, we see that if y equals plus or minus a number, which we'll represent with k, then that means we're going to have a horizontal line because it's all going to be on the same y number. If x equals plus or minus k, it means we're going to have a vertical line because it's always going to be on the same x. Okay, now let's look at another graph of a line. All right, I want to graph both of these lines on the same Cartesian plane, the same coordinate plane. Remember, again, just a review, this is called our x-axis, this is called our y-axis. When you have ordered pairs, which would be your x and your y, like this, x always comes first, then y. X is when we go side to side, y up and down. Okay, so just that quick reminder. You may not have forgotten, but just in case. So let's say I have y equals 2x. Well, remember, first I need to find some ordered pairs, and I can choose whatever I want for x. So I'm going to choose convenient numbers. I'm going to start with 0 because that's an easy one to work with. Anything times 0 is 0. So if y equals 2x, 2 times 0 is 0, so y equals 0. All right, let me try negative 2. Positive 2 times negative 2 is a negative 4. And let's do positive 2. 2 times 2 is positive 4. Okay, now I'll graph this. So my first ordered pair is 0, 0. So 0x, 0y, that's right here in the middle. All right, then my next ordered pair is negative 2, negative 4. So I go over negative 2, I go down negative 4. My next ordered pair is positive 2, positive 4. So that one goes right there. All right, and I'm going to take my ruler, connect my points. Oops. Try to do this in a straight line as possible. Okay. Now I put these little arrows on the end to show that really my line keeps going in either direction. Now I'm going to graph y equals 2. So y equals 2, that means that no matter what x is, y is 2. So if x is 4, y is 2. If x is 0, y is 2. If x is negative 4, y is 2. And so we have a line going across. So we can see the difference even when you just add a number being multiplied, or when you just add a variable, it changes. With your variable, you're going to have a diagonal line. With no second variable, your line is going to be straight. All right, now it's time to talk about overall average. Okay, let's finish up our lesson with overall average. So the average of averages is not usually going to be your overall average. That's not usually what we mean. Okay, so suppose that, now I'm going to look exactly at the example and follow it. Suppose that the average of the first 6 numbers of a group of numbers is 8. And then the average of the next group, which would be 4 numbers, is 10. If I were to average 8 and 10, that would be 8 plus 10, and then that's 2 numbers I'm adding together, so you add and then divide, so you divide by 2. That would be 18 over 2, that would be 9. Well, that's the average of the averages, but it's not the average of all the numbers. The overall average is the sum of all the numbers over the number of numbers. So for the first group, which is has the average of 8, we added together 6 numbers, divided them by 6, and got 8. So to find their total again, you have to multiply your average by the number of numbers. So 6 times 8. Then for the second group, to find its total, it was 4 numbers. So you have to multiply the average by 4 to get its total. You're going to add those 2 totals together and divide it by the number of numbers you're adding together, which would be 6 in this group and 4 in this group. 6 plus 4 is 10. So your total number of numbers is 10. All right, so 6 times 8 is 48, plus 4 times 10 is 40, over 10. 48 plus 40 is 88, over 10. 88 divided by 10 is 8.8. So that's your overall average. All right, let's try another example. All right. Okay. So, example 55.4 says the average of the first 90 numbers was 4. The average of the next 10 numbers was 6. What was the overall average? Okay, so you have 90 numbers with an average of 4. So you multiply 90 times 4 to get that total. Then the next 10 numbers had an average of 6. Plus. So you multiply 10 by 6. Now, how many total numbers did you average? 90 plus 10, 100. Okay, 90 times 4 is 360, plus 10 times 6 is 60, over 100. 360 plus 60 is 420, over 100. Divide that and you get an overall average of 4.2. Okay, do you feel like you understood it? Go ahead and pause now and do your practice. It's on page 205 of your book. Okay, let's finish up your practice. Letter A is right here. Right here. This is letter A, y equals negative 2x. It should be a slanted line going down through the middle. So the top part over here in the second coordinate, the bottom part here in the fourth quadrant. Then letter B, y equals negative 2, should be a horizontal line at negative 2y. And letter C, the average of the first 5 weights was 10. The average of the next 10 weights was 25. What was the average of all the weights? So you do 5 times 10 is 50. 10 times 25 is 250. 50 plus 250 is 300 divided by, you had 15. And so that is 20. Let me know if you have any questions about how to do these problems. I will see you in the next lesson. Love you guys very much. Bye.